There's always a presumption that it gets better, things get better, that history follows this progressive line where the past was worse than the present. So one would then assume that today it must be easier to come out than yesterday. But of course, one thing that has changed are the terms by which we come out, the terms or expectations that define what it means to be gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender. And of course, transgender itself has a whole other, does not operate in terms of coming out as does gay or lesbian, and even bisexual would be different from that. So it's certainly different to come out today. And it's not necessarily easier because coming out is an individual process. So it may be easier for one person, but that actually might make it more difficult for another. Because for the person for whom it was easy to come out, they might be fit a category of white, middle class, that resonates with popular images of what it means to be out as a celebrity today. Anderson Cooper or Rachel Maddow. To come out and say, I'm like them, may be easier. But what if you're not like them? It actually may be harder to come out today. And it's also important to realize that coming out is a moment-to-moment process. People don't just come out once. You come out again and again and again, depending on the situations that confront you on a daily basis. So you're out more in one place, and you might be less out in another. And that's a very difficult negotiation.
I think this issue of process is really important to stress. I mean, people can have the experience over the course of their lifetime of thinking they were always out, so they've come out, they're done with that. But in fact, each new occasion, you might have to come out again to a new group of people, a new job, a new place you move to. And then think of what it's like to be sort of an elderly lesbian, gay, bisexual person, and say you're in a nursing home you go into a hospital, and now you have a new occasion where coming out might imperil the kind of medical care you get. You could enter a late life closet. So someone could spend her entire life as her entire adult life as a lesbian activist, and then find suddenly the closet door shutting around her when she goes into a space for care that isn't safe. So it's easier. We might ask the question. It might be easier in some moments than in others, and we always have to ask easier in relative to what and to whom.
And there's a sense in which people say, well, things do get better, things are always easier, and yet I know that when I came out in the late 60s, there was actually a huge amount of social permission to be different. You actually got street cred for being different, for being hippie, for being out, for being other things. I think it made it easier for people to actually come out. These days, I think about my students, these days, in fact, you actually get points for being the same, for not being different, which I think makes it much more difficult to actually come out than it did back in 1967, 1968.